You know me. You have been there for me all my life, and all I'm asking you is to be with me now. So I had conversational talk with God. I didn't have formal prayer. But yes, there were thousands, and when I say thousands, I mean thousands of people who were out there praying for me.
What about the whole matter of being isolated? How did you manage that part, being away from your loved ones, your wife, the rest of your family?
It was cruel. I've never had that experience in all my life. I came to this country in 1981, and this was the first time I was going to the hospital, and no one was able to visit me. And even those that attend to you, they just come in, do what they had to do, and get back out. When you have COVID and you're in the hospital, it's like you have leprosy. People shun you, as it were. And that isolation was awful. It was terrible. I am a social person. My wife says I am happy when I'm around people, and that is true. And so to be isolated for such a long time, 18 days, was a nightmare. It was really challenging.
Doc, I'm looking at you. Is that an oxygen prong in your nostril or so? I'm just trying to get an idea and for you to tell us how you're feeling now.
Yeah, it's an oxygen tube. When I was admitted to the hospital, the coronavirus gave me a lot of complication. For the first time, I had high blood pressure. I had pulmonary embolism. I had pneumonia. I had sore throat, sore mouth, high fever, no appetite. I had everything. And while I was there in the hospital, there are several things that caused me to nearly lose my life. And the first one was, as you see, I am connected to a tube, an oxygen tube. And for me to go to the bathroom, they had to disconnect it from the wall and put it into a tank. And they carried me to the bathroom with that little oxygen tank. And while I was there using the bathroom, I started getting dizzy. It's as if I was fainting. My heart was pounding and my breath was shortening. So I quickly hit the panic button and washed my hands, and the nurse came in and she saw me panting and she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe." She said, "Yes, but are you okay?" I said, "Ma'am, I cannot breathe." And she opened the door wider and I walked past her and she picked up the tank and I went and I threw myself from the bed. She pulled the cord out, but she doesn't know where to plug it in. There were so many sockets. So I saw her watching there and I felt death coming. It's like my oxygen was totally cut off. And when she wasn't doing anything, I shouted out on the top of my lungs, "Help! Help!" And the people heard me outside and they dashed to the room, doctors, nurses, everybody. My room was filled. And one nurse, as she ran into the room, she saw the cord dangling at my bed and she grabbed it and plugged it into the wall. And the oxygen started coming back to my body. And in a short while, I calmed down, my breathing was okay. And after they checked me out and I was okay, they left the room. But one doctor stayed behind. And the doctor, when he looked at it, looked at the tank, he turned to me and he said, "Mr. Smith, your tank was empty. They connected you to an empty tank, and that's why what happened to you." And would you believe me, the following day, I was to go to the bathroom, the same thing happened. A second tank, and the second tank was also empty. So 2 days in a row, I nearly lost my life because of human error.
Wow.
Now, this tube that you spoke about,
Yes.
I'll share with you. I know my time is limited, so I must give you my final powerful story. The doctors came into my room one day and they sat at my bed and said, "Mr. Smith, for more than a week now, more than one full week, you're in this hospital and we've been giving you oxygen. You're getting 15 liters. That's the highest amount of oxygen we can give a human being. Beyond that is ventilator. Your body has not been responding. Nothing, you're not saturating with the oxygen. And so the only thing we can think of is to put you on the ventilator. What do you think?" I said, "Well, doctor, you know what's best for my life." At the time, I didn't even know the statistics that 80% of those who go on the ventilator, the next thing is death. I didn't know that. So he said, are you in agreement to go on the ventilator? I said, Doc, if that's the best thing, what can I say? He said, okay. But he called my wife to tell my wife that they were going to put me on the ventilator. And my wife says, no, doctor, I do not want my husband to go on the ventilator. Says, Mrs.